All right, Joe, how are you, sir?
Good, buddy. How are you today?
Well, I've had better days, but it is what it is. It's We got an old dog. He's sick and suffering, and so we're gonna have to put him down. But it is what it is. He was 16 and a half years old, so yeah, it's a good life for a dog.
Heck yeah. And you got to know he's living large in the Nickel household.
Oh, dude, he lived so large. He lived huge. He got the attention and the spoiling. Well, the funny thing is, he was the puppy of my dog and my wife's dog. So we each had a dog when we met, and he was the only puppy in the litter between the two of them. So
A one puppy litter?
a one puppy litter. He was the only dog,
Wow, that is
and he
unusual.
and he was one of the first YouTube celebrities for dog celebrities. I posted that video you saw earlier on my Twitter
I
feed.
saw the numbers. Yeah.
I posted it on YouTube 16 and a half years ago to show my parents the puppy, and woke up the next morning and had thousands of messages because somebody at YouTube put it on the front page at YouTube. That was back in the day when they curated everything manually. And
Hmm.
so he had a little bit of celebrity going there.
I,
Had some
I
people
saw his
following.
1.2 million views. I was like, holy shit. Brad's got a lot of catching up to do.
So anyway, he's a good boy. We're all saying goodbye, and then after the show, I'm gonna take him. So that's what it is. That's
Mm,
life. It's part of life. Like you said earlier, the thing about life that sucks is we all have to die. So
yep. Well, I think the worst part is watching everybody else die.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
that's
My,
the painful part.
yeah, my mother-in-law's going through that right now with all her friends, and it's she's not a happy camper to say the least.
Mm-mm.
So
No.
anyway,
Well, give her my
enough.
best.
Thanks. Enough of the depressing news. What's going on in the world, dude? Have you even looked at prices today? I have not.
ETH is up a couple of points. The European stock market, US stock market are just raging right now. Nikkei futures are up over a point for later today. I mean, something's going on. I mean, Europe's
What
up
the
two and a
hell's
half.
going on? Why? 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 What's going on? Soul's
I
reco-
haven't
Even
just,
Soul is trying to recover today.
yeah, there's a lot of action going on. I mean, I was looking at all this because I was putting my top 10 list together. And I also put together a list of top 10 kind of moonshotty type things, the smaller ones.
Oh,
So,
oh,
you
I didn't
know,
do that. I just put one moonshotty thing in mine.
well, yeah, well, either way, there's no real rules. I
You
just kind
put
of
yours in
added that.
Reddit?
No, I thought we were going to do it on the show.
Oh, okay. Well,
So,
I put mine in
yeah.
Reddit too. Anyway, well,
Oh, okay. I'll put it in there
let's
then.
real quick.
Yeah.
Let's go back over Shizzy's and Niblets picks and everybody else. Niblet said had to take mine in a couple of weeks ago. Absolutely heartbreaking when the family gets smaller. Yeah, it's just sucks. This is our last dog. The mom and the dad of this dog died over the last. We had to put them down over the last few years, and it's the last one. We have cats now, which we never imagined, but they come and go. So we have some animals to love on, but yeah, it sucks. Anyway,
You got some
um,
iguanas too, I'm sure, right?
oh, everywhere. Well, I will tell you, in our neighborhood, we have foxes, snakes,
Hmm.
possum, raccoons, iguanas.
Alligators.
We have gators a little bit further off the property. It's a fucking wildlife refuge here, and for some reason they all come to our house. Not sure why we attract all the strays, but that's what we do. that's our
You know,
that's
it's
our thing.
funny. Yeah, just quick anecdote. Remember when I was out in Colorado a few years back? I was in Ouray, which is a beautiful town. It's right opposite over the San Juan Mountains from Telluride.
Right.
Ouray. And when I was climbing in the Alps years ago, everybody was always, I was like, where is this shit in America? And they all kept saying Ouray. And I'm like, Ouray, what is that? And I've been there a few times now, but, um,
Where is
they
that
had a
again?
situation. It's in southwest Colorado, just north of Telluride across the mountains. So you can do four
Huh.
wheeling over like 12, 13,000 foot peaks. But then what I was getting to when I was thinking about the alligators was that they have a problem there with bears coming into houses and emptying the refrigerators. So while we
Ah,
were there,
yeah.
a bear came in and, the next, didn't even know it was there. And the next morning there was like flower paw prints all over the place in the
Oh
house. And it
shit.
just came in and ate and left. And So then they hunt it down. They don't kill it, but they move it somewhere else away from the population. But
Right.
where you are, it's the same thing, but it's tropical nature. It's not
exactly.
mountain wood nature. So it's always fun how that works out, this nature meeting with us.
Yep, absolutely. Okay,
we got picks coming in.
I've got picks. I'm putting them in.
Okay.
I guess it breaks them up. That's fucked up. All right. So Shizzy, he's got Matic. Wow. When you put them in his comments, they don't keep their structure. So sorry for the mess here. Matic, FTM, Kanto, Glimmer, which is Moonbeam, which we talked about with him whenever we had him on. Honey, which is part from Hive Mapper, the dashcam mapping app, DApp. Zen, it looks like Zena Aptos Mover. I'm going to create a coin called Zen Aptos Mover. Zen, Aptos, which is a chain. Mover, MOVR, Moon River, affiliated with Moonbeam. One is the testnet, not testnet, but one is the MVP net, and the other one is the main chain. STG, Stargate Finance, ICP, the Internet Computer, which has been around quite a while. So interesting picks by him. And then Niblets, Niblets put a lot of pros in his, so I'm just going to read his out. Niblets did BTC, obviously, but BTC isn't real money. It's more like a box of gold jewelry. You bury it in your backyard for use in case of a zombie apocalypse. Okay, that works for me. ETH, please. I poured a lot into an early ETH ETF and would very much like to see that go somewhere, not down. Matic, not much deep utility, but lots and lots of potential shallow utility. I mean, a possible loyalty point program with Coke could touch billions, but that's not exactly solving an important problem, not even for Coke. FTM, because I love a good underdog story. I won't bet money on this underdog, but I would still love the story. I got FTM, and I've got all four of these in mind. Kanto, because trying to do better really should be rewarded better. That said, I've experienced more scammers and scammer warnings here than on any other project. Either there are more scammers or the project is better at outing them. I think the project's pretty good at outing them as a community, but every new chain attracts all the scammers. I mean, it's just the way it works. It's how it is. And he said Bean, because we need a good stable, and it has held up incredibly well despite being drained and vicious crypto winter. Plus, the team seems more focused on crypto as a means to an end rather than an end itself. And that end is to experiment with pure economic and monetary theories to discover better economics. That's some geekery I can get behind. I agree with all of those. I don't have Bean, but I have the rest. On the negative side, he said, I'd like to see Sol just roll over once and for all. It's holding a lot of value hostage that other projects could probably do more with, and has demonstrated over and over that it's just going to keep shoving sticks into its own spokes. Sometimes it's better to move to a new house than keep fixing the old one. I'm sure there are lots of reasons why Sol is still great, but there are lots of reasons why others are just as great or better with fewer sticks in the spokes. I like all of those picks, Joe.
Yeah, of his? Yeah. No, I went a little differently, guys. I went for the big ones, and then I just put them in the comments. And,
okay, good.
Yeah, and then, I have a long shot list too. So, I just went through my top 100s and figured out what I liked in there and what I thought would do well this year. But I have my home run list I'll put up in a second, which is a lot of the names that we're all talking about.
Okay.
What do you got there? You got ETH, BTC, FTM.
Well, let's go through yours first. Sorry,
okay.
I'm taking attention away from yours. BTC, ETH, Matic, FTM. He likes DOT. That's good. I think that's a good play. Chainlink. Oh yeah, good call on that one. I think it's a really good call. XMR. That's interesting. What's up with that?
Yeah. I just started thinking with all the decentralization and all the proof of work stuff out there, and maybe a push toward, compartmenting the different types of, let's say, crypto, like U.S. regulated versus, anonymous world. And sure. XMR fits in there. It's still mineable.
Yeah, that's a good safety call.
It doesn't take a lot of money to set up rigs, because I think it's the cheaper ones, if I'm not mistaken. I'm no expert on this, but and all the BTC, a lot of the BTC maxis, seems to me, might be their second favorite one for all of the philosophical reasons. So that's why I went for it. I think they do
lean to that one. I like that a lot, and I kind of like that as a safety valve on the regulation side. I think that's a really smart pick. I love that. That's awesome, Joe. Awesome.
Yeah, and then Aave, thanks, buddy. And then Aave, Curve, and Cake. And, Aave for obvious reasons, but, that if this shit all gets dragged down when these other ones go under, then that's not going to be a good pick. And, Curve, 52 cents right now? I mean, I was buying that last year at $1 and loving it. And,
The
I think it went
liquidity
to
of
5.
DeFi. Yeah.
Yeah. And then cake, I just can't, I was looking at sushi pretty hard and I just thought, if I'm going to pick one of these, I got to go with cake just because of its reach totally around the world. And it's like, what, $3 or something right now?
Yeah.
The two big ones that aren't on the list that I tossed at the very end were Uniswap and I was kind of looking at Near again for a second, thinking, okay, this has been around for a while. Maybe some money's going to flow in. It'll have a bow pump or some kind. But I discounted them at the end because I was like, nah, I don't want to play that. So that's mine.
Interesting. Well, look, I mean, here's the interesting thing. The common denominators here so far, we have FTM and Matic from Shizzy, FTM and Matic from Niblets, FTM and Matic from me, FTM and Matic from you. That's really interesting. The rest of us, except for Shizzy, have also BTC and ETH, but Shizzy may have just discounted those because they're always, part of the package. I did the Frax family. I kind of cheated here. I probably should put them all together. But I was actually reading a summary about the ETH staking model. So I added their staked ETH, secondarily staked ETH token to this because it earns like double what you get for staking ETH. It earns like 9%. And frankly, while I'm really worried about the USDC dependency for Frax, everything I see them doing and building an ecosystem tells me this is going to be a dominant play. And so I'm kind of betting on the whole family there. I think there's a lot to be made. I probably should add one more to my list, but if I did, I would probably add Chainlink. I just completely blanked on Chainlink, but I think that's a great pick.
Yeah, it's just hard not to pick it, because it's up there, decent size. It seems to always make that run like with that to $25, and then it retreats. And so if there's any motion this year, I would expect it to be part of that. But it's a guess, like we all are doing.
And as we always should say, this is not financial advice. You should not buy these tokens just because we like these tokens, or either with Shizzy or Niblet's brilliant picks. You should make your own determination and do your own research. I still like Canto. I'm stacking Canto every day. That's all I'm doing. I'm not taking profit yet, Joe. I'm just stacking. I've got LP going and I got staking going. And like Niblet said, I think there's a good moral cause here for the decentralization and what needs to happen. And I also think that there's a really strong business, financial model for it. I think that the incentives they're building into the network are really strong. Alchemix, not giving up on them, still love it. Right. I love the model. I love the composability. I love what they're doing with their new versions. I love Scoopy. I think he's a fucking top-notch human being. And I really think that that Alchemix has not even gotten close to seeing what it could do. And I think that it is one of the most promising protocols for cross integration into the real world. And I'm still on that Alchemix bandwagon. I put AVAX in here. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was going to say that's a good. Yeah, I like ALCX. I mean, it was funny. I did have a chat with someone yesterday, and we were talking about that. And of course, they all are like, they look at the tax issue there. But I'm like, it'll get settled eventually. So if it's income, it's income. But here in the U.S., but it's a great play. It's a very cool concept, and it's going to turn into something. We talk about those, hypothetical partnerships with Honey or Hive Mapper, so that people could acquire those. I mean, it's got so many places where it can fit into crypto. Oh, you're still going through your list. I'm sorry. I didn't want to jump ahead.
No, it's okay. Go ahead. It's okay.
Oh, I threw up my long shots too, or not long shots, moon shots, whatever. And I'm kind of on the same list with most of you guys. Kanta, Liquidity, Treller, Change. I got Geist in there because you all know I like that one. And I got Mona, which is Digital Axe, because I love those fashion NFT concept. And I put in a Hive Mapper. And Caliber, I think it was called, that Sean introduced us to. Was it Caliber or Collider? I can't remember.
Collider, and they don't have a token, and they probably won't because they're Bitcoin, but they could be a big player in the space. They will have a stable coin around it, though. So
okay. That might not. Yeah, that might not work as well. But and then ALCX. So
I threw AVEX in. I think Avalanche still has legs. And I think the folks over there are still doing great building. I think that this side or subchain model makes a ton of sense. And I think there were going to be a lot of plays for the subchain model in the non-crypto space. I just saw the other day BMW building a platform on BNB chain. And I think those kinds of big corporate blockchain as a service kind of plays have a ton of potential. So I think Avalanche has a ton of potential. And there's good building still going on over there. Trader Joe, I almost put their new token in there, but I didn't yet. So,
What's interesting is I'm just noticing this because I know my reasoning behind it, but I don't see BNB on anybody's list.
Yeah, and it's crazy because I actually thought a lot about it because I've always loved
Me
BNB.
too.
And I think, look, I think it still has a shit ton of potential from the perspective that that's where retail lives primarily in terms of mass numbers. But there's a lot of work to be done there on decentralization, on scamming, on, it's just got to, and the reputation's got to be cleaned up. And I'm hedging on the regulatory enforcement with them. I just, I
that
don't
was
know
my
what's gonna
feeling.
happen. Yeah. And
I think
unfortunately it's so centralized, that, I think that puts it at risk. So, that's why it didn't make my list.
Yeah, no, that was my thinking too. I look at it, all I see is short, basically, because if anybody's has regulatory risk right now, it's them. Coinbase just did their settlement with the New York financial authorities or whatever of 100 million because they weren't doing KYC, I guess, or backgrounding people. And so you got to think, just from all the talk we've heard the last couple of years, from the legal community people, water cooler chatter, basically, that they're in the gun sights right now.
Yeah.
And it worries me for, crypto in general, but just because of that was enough to make me say, I don't know if I want to touch that one for this 1 year return. Because I could see that at, I'm sorry, CZ, but I could see that at, $60 by the end of the year. If anything, you get dragged into any of this other stuff. But cake, you get the benefit of everything over there. All the customers, the retail, all of that. Yeah, sure, it's a, it's in a kind of goofy looking exchange, but there's a lot of people using it. I think it has the highest volume still, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So
it's got the retail market locked up.
Yeah.
Not locked up there, but it has the masses, right? Shizzy says this is great, but now I want to change my picks. Dude, post them in. You can change them.
Yeah.
Niblet says BNB just doesn't move the hearts of men. So and the last one on my list is change, and that was more of a long shot for me. I didn't do a separate long shot list, but maybe I'll do that now. And I like change. I know the CEO pretty well by now. I've had a lot of interactions with him. I know the chief technology officer and the chief strategy officer. I like what they're working on. I like the new versions that are coming out. They have a hearty community, and I like the tech a fuck of a lot. So all of those things are encouraging to me. Shizzy says PancakeSwap's also on Aptos as well, and
I didn't know that.
The more Shizzy talks about Aptos, the more I take a look at it, the more interesting it gets to me. So it's really interesting. Late breaking. I just got Sean's list, and this is going to blow you away. You ready?
Oh, yeah. BTC.
Yeah, there's Sean's list.
I love it, man. I'm surprised you don't give one to XMR, man.
No, he hasn't even submitted it. I just fucking did that. I just fucking did that. It's just me.
Yeah, Sean won.
Yeah. Wow, Sean won. Yeah, he did. That's probably the best bet amongst all of our bets.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Hold on 1 second. Let me close my door.
Sure, buddy. Yeah, no, it's fun to do this. Now we just, we get them all onto Reddit and we just wait and then we see who wins. And, maybe there'll be a prize for whoever wins.
Yeah. Now, it'd be interesting to see a list from Sean of tokens he's interested in just trading this year. Because I know he does a little bit of the shitcoinery trading on occasion, primarily ETH, but that'd be interesting to see. Like if he's just basing it on volatility. By the way, we're going to have another strategies discussion with Sean on Thursday.
Cool.
Looking forward to that. Longer term
strategies.
Tomorrow.
Yep. Tomorrow, right? Yeah, got it.
Yep. So looking forward to that one. And, he's the man, dude. He's the man. I also have an interesting guest coming on February 2nd. But let me pull up. I'm going to try to pull up this this post that I retweeted yesterday or today. Anyway, I got the guy that did this. He's going to come on and describe how he did this because it's pretty fucking amazing to me. But let me pull this up if I can find it. Oh, here it is. So I'll post this, and we'll talk about it briefly now. But he's going to come in and describe for us exactly what he did. So Michael Schmidt at Schnitzel, which is a great name. It's a great username. This dude replaced all of his heating in his house, including his water and his hot tub, with Bitcoin miners, and it's cheaper than his original heating costs. And he's open sourcing everything. So, I mean, if you think about applying this kind of a model to fucking mining, and you know, we've talked about miners used to heat houses or heat rooms before.
Yeah.
But this guy went all fucking in, right? And you could theoretically create an entire product line around this, right? You could create a model that has compartmentalized built-in stuff. You train plumbers and electricians in how to install it. And then you fucking install these things and sell them as a package. And people are either saving money or they upgrade. Like he said, he's upgrading his miners. They start making money on their and have all of their heating and costs for free. Right. So there's a lot of opportunity there, and there's a lot of opportunity to take that even further to do other things with the heat generated from these. So, yeah. Nibbles said, but how much did he spend on soundproofing his house? ASICs sound like jet engines. I think he's got them out in the garage. Yeah, he's got them out in the garage, and he's got them in this box. So I think that's where he's how he's soundproofing it. And he said he is using immersion cooling, if I remember correctly. Yep. Yeah, immersion cooled with BitCool and sit in a drinks cooler for best heat insulation. So anyway, I think this is just a very cool story. I can't wait to have him on. He's going to come on February 2nd. He's going on vacation this week. So looking forward to having more details about how he did this, because I think it's pretty cool. So
yeah,
no noise at all.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Huh. I talked to
immersion.
Yeah. Speaking of guests, I talked to our lawyer friend in New York, crypto lawyer from DLX, Lewis, and he's going to come on the show. So I chatted with him yesterday. So I just got to schedule something.
That's great.
So he's going to come in and talk about SEC stuff. And when I was talking to him yesterday, I was so glad to hear him say the problem with the U.S. is there's just so many different regulators. Nobody knows what's up. And we had a little chat about Gary Gensler, because I said, I shouldn't say, what do you think of him? It was more of, we were having a chat, and it was,
What's your take?
Yeah, but he brought up something interesting that I had not known or didn't pay attention with it, and it's that Gary Gensler was at CFTC for a while too. And
he was head of CFTC previously. Yeah,
he was pushing to expand his his power base, extending jurisdiction, and now he's over at the SEC, he's kind of doing the same thing. And I didn't really realize that. So it was just a fascinating discussion, and I'll let him. We probably don't want to get too deep on names with him live, but he gives a good assessment of the state of the regulatory market, and
nice.
And I think so we'll get him on the next couple of weeks. Everybody,
Dude,
Lewis Cohen,
he's brilliant,
yeah,
brilliant.
Very
if you
cool.
need an attorney in the space and you can afford him, you should hire him, because he's fantastic.
Yeah.
Big opportunity in crypto right now. Crypto firm Wyre is shutting down, and crypto firm Wyre is a payment processor. Integrating and allowing people to buy things and pay for things with crypto. So they're basically a gateway for crypto, which can integrate with credit card processing and debit card processing, et cetera. They raised $29 million. They had an acquisition offer of $1.5 billion, but they pulled out in September. Yeah. And what that tells me is they scaled way too fast. They probably added way too much expense, and they're either going to shut down or they're going to scale back. There's competing messages from the CEO over the holidays. But what I'm saying is, having worked in the payments industry for a number of years, or not for a number of years, for a couple of years, and still earn from the payments industry residual money that comes to me every month, this right here is a big opportunity. When a major firm like this shuts down, they're going to leave a lot of customers hanging. If you know someone that can build the initial infrastructure or use an open source platform to build a nice interface to payments processing and integration of payments into wallets, et cetera, so that people can buy crypto with their credit or debit card, et cetera. And you can replace these guys. There's going to be a big ass opportunity. So anyway.
Have you ever used them?
I did some work with them when I was advising Doki for a little while. And so we had a bunch of conversations about integration, but I've never actually like used them for myself.
And do you know who made the $1.7 billion offer? Just out of curiosity.
$1.5 billion offer was by Bolt, which I believe is also a processor, but I don't know the details of that one. Yeah, one-click checkout company, Bolt. Bolt is a traditional payment processor. So Bolt is a platform that integrates with shopping carts to allow people to do one-click checkout like they do in Amazon. That's right. I remember this now. Pretty popular brand, but if you set up a nice processing business that can integrate with credit card processing, your ability to flip out of that business is, from my perspective, in the next couple of years when things start growing up again, going to be very powerful. But another thing related to that, let me see if I have it and if I can find it. I can't find it at the moment, but there was an art. Oh, here it is. Related to that, crypto payments volume in e-commerce climbed 60% in 2022. So despite a massive bear market, people actually buying shit with crypto grew. So I would say, again, that's the first kind of touch point for crypto, right? Is can we get people actually buying and paying for things with it? And if you can provide the infrastructure to do that, even if you make it so it's a decentralized open source thing, the opportunity is extraordinary, absolutely extraordinary. Yeah. You could make no money on the crypto processing, add in crypto and credit and debit card processing, and make all your money from the credit and debit card processing, from the normal fees that are charged already by the banks, and provide a valuable service and position yourself to be acquired. So anyway.
Yeah, all in that whole genre of like moving to infrastructure where it's seamless, It only took me about 5 years to figure out that I just had to touch the machines with my card instead of like sticking the chip in or anything. Yeah. I mean, I've been doing that for like years, and then people tell me, oh no, you just got to touch it. And I'm like, I'm never really doing this shit. But then I realized, wow, that's easy. Same with this. Whoever can make that happen, where we don't even think about what we're doing, what it is going to like kill it.
Yeah. Now, if you just get a real phone, you could actually just touch your phone and pay.
Yeah, I know. I've heard about that. My Korean boys have the same thing. But of course, me, I don't trust anybody. We'll let it use it.
Everybody to trust, it's Apple, as far as I'm concerned. Anyway.
I know.
Okay, so let me get this back so I can load it into the show notes. Do you remember us talking about EigenLayer way back when, where you can take your staked ETH and utilize it to secure another protocol? This seems to be advancing. I'm going to just post this article in, but Coinbase Institutional is actually talking about this as an opportunity for their institutional clients. And the idea is this: you're staking ETH, you're making your 4% to 6%, whatever it is, and then you can take that staked security token that you get back for staking and put it in to secure something else. So that's what EigenLayer is building. Really powerful concept, and I just thought it was interesting. Core Bitcoin developer Luke Dash Jr. lost $3.6 million in Bitcoin and is calling out to the FBI to help him recover his Bitcoin, 216 Bitcoin, because his PGP keys were compromised in some way. And evidently in November, he had a problem with PGP keys being compromised on his server. So there's a couple of things to learn here. First is managing your fucking crypto is hard. It's just hard, and we got to get better about it. Number two, don't get complacent. We all do. We kind of get lazy. We want to shortcut shit, and we let down our guard. This is somebody who, typical developers are pretty paranoid, especially a Bitcoin developer. And so, and the third lesson to learn here is don't do tweet threads on justifying that masturbation is an executable offense.
Oh, is that what he was talking about?
Dude, he's
hardcore. I saw his...
He's one of those hardcore Catholic radical far right guys.
Oh God!
And he did an entire thread arguing that
Yeah, just go fuck boys instead, right?
that masturbation can be a threat, a sin that should be a crime that should be executed. You could be executed for because you're murdering humans.
I was watching his thread, not on that topic, but this whole like I fucked up and lost all my Bitcoin thread that he was
I
doing.
feel bad
And
for
I
him
just,
losing his money. Don't get me wrong. And we
oh, of
need the
course,
Bitcoin Core developers. And so I'm not trying to badmouth that and whatever his personal religious beliefs,
yeah,
he's welcome to them. Thank you for doing the work you do. I don't want to downplay
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So,
But listen, don't you find it kind of funny that the moment they get in trouble, these hardcore libertarians start calling for the FBI to bail their ass out? I'm like, dude, it's one or the other. They're either the deep state or they're here to help. You pick,
yeah,
man. But when you lose your money, then you go to them bitching and whining.
yeah,
I mean, man up and earn it back, dude.
yeah. It's pretty bad.
I mean,
Pretty
of course,
bad.
I feel sorry for him too, and but
It
shit is what it
seems
is.
to be related to something called Bitcoin's
Yeah,
Knots and
knots.
Trust. And I'm not sure what exactly that is because I haven't done the research. But evidently there was a compromise within the code for that. Shizzy, I don't think anybody knows for sure. He said, can you explain how he lost his Bitcoin? I'm confused. Somehow or another, his PGP key was compromised. I'm not sure how that, it must have been related to storing his private keys in some way. And it has some relationship to, or they suspect it has some relationship to a platform called Bitcoin Knots and Trust. I have no idea what that is. I haven't done the research on it yet. But ultimately, it sounds like it's probably related to the compromise of his servers, which then resulted in, I guess it's, Bitcoin
Because they
Nuts
were hot wallets too.
Bitcoin Nuts is a wallet.
Mhm.
Full Bitcoin client builds the backbone of a network. Yeah, so evidently not a wallet to be trusted right now. Again, I'm not sure they know exactly what happened yet. I don't think he knows
But
for
why
sure.
is he leaving in 216 odd Bitcoin in a hot wallet? I mean, I don't get that at all. Why isn't it on a ledger in cold storage or something?
Well,
I mean,
it could have still been in cold storage, but if somebody gets the private keys, you know.
yeah, that's true. That's true. But don't you still have to?
Yeah, I mean, he had his keys in the wrong place. I mean, ultimately, that's
Yeah,
what happened. You know,
maybe it was a
and
post-it note on his laptop, like that other guy we talked about a few months ago.
yeah, exactly. Anyway, I feel bad for him, and I shouldn't necessarily make fun of his religious beliefs, but they are extreme, and it's hard not to talk about him without talking about that topic. But ultimately, I don't want anybody to lose their Bitcoin, especially somebody who's working their ass off to build out the core functionality of Bitcoin. So to me, that's scary and sad at the same time. So hopefully he gets that back, but I doubt very seriously he will.
Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah, it's gone. It's gone. Oh, this
Get
is
over
Wyre
it. Move
again.
on.
Let's see what else we got here, Joe. What else I have today? Oh, well, you already talked about this. Coinbase has reached the slap on the wrist category. So I guess that means they are now legitimate institutional since they are getting the slap on the wrist and nobody goes to jail for violating money laundering laws, which
Yeah.
to me is just amazing, dude. It's amazing.
Wait, who? Eamon has a question there about. I seem to remember something like that where you could load all the coins into it and then move
There
like
was
20.
one.
What was that called?
Can't remember. I mean, you could do it with change, but if it's dust level stuff, it's probably not going to be worth it with the fees. But change, you can do cross chain. But I don't think you can't just do them all in one transaction though. Now, I don't know anyway, here's this question for anybody that does know, please put it in the comments. Does anyone know of a DEX aggregator protocol where you can sell off multiple small amount tokens into a single asset in one transaction doing a multi-swap? So saying you have multiple small amounts of all these tokens and you do one transaction and it becomes all ETH or something else, I think is what he means. And I'm not familiar with any at the moment. I do know there was a Dust tool previously that would do that to some extent for you, but you had to do them one at a time. If I'm not mistaken, when I was fucking around with that. Anyway, so Coinbase is paying $50 million for violating U.S. anti-money laundering laws and is required to invest $50 million more in its compliance efforts. Evidently, they have a huge backlog of suspicious activity to investigate that they've gotten behind on. Look, at the end of the day, I don't want anybody to get arrested. This is just the chaos of trying to build a company fast and trying to keep up with the regulations as well. And then trying to keep up with the regulations as it relates to all 50 states, plus the federal government in the United States, plus foreign regulatory compliance where they operate foreign. So I'm not trying to be extra hard on Coinbase here. I just find it interesting that it's reached that stage. Like anybody else kind of on the lower tier that did this would be facing more serious problems for their business.
Oh yeah. But like to your point, if you've got enough backing financially, you can go out and, you can't wait on the regulators. I guess if you wait on the regulators, you're never going to get it done.
Right.
So, you have to assess that, but, you have to go all in at that point and have some juice behind you so that you can do these settlements. If you're just, someone that they can chop your head off, you're going to get it chopped off because you can't come in and cut these deals. But what I thought was interesting is it just shows how much more that, I remember Kathy Wood, I think, doubled down on Coinbase last week.
That's right.
And so, obviously this is being discussed at the board level, and I think she has people on the board just from her other investments, I would suspect there. But it makes me feel like she's seeing clear sailing ahead there for it. That it's the anointed one in the U.S. regulatory space. So I don't know what coin's at right now, but I suspect it's low. So again, not financial advice, but if you like to play equities, it might be something to look at and think about for the long haul.
Niblitz asks, who has gone to prison for money laundering except that Filipino secretary who was tricked into trading for DPRK? I don't have any specific instances of people going to prison for money laundering, but I know they do. I actually, strangely enough, have a friend now because he's a parent of a girl on my daughter's lacrosse team who is an attorney that specializes in money laundering defense. So
in crypto or just regular old?
All of the above.
Interesting.
Yeah, good guy, really good guy, and he's dealing with interesting characters every day. So
maybe we should get him on the show.
Yeah. So a lot of doom and gloom around Bitcoin mining. I don't get it, Joe. And here's why I don't get it. Well, I get it. I understand why. The gloom and doom around Bitcoin mining is all of these companies that were founded to build up and be Bitcoin miners have to sell everything because they didn't build their business to be a long-term business, right? But people like Sean building Bitcoin mining operations and other folks who understand the long-term play shouldn't be having any problems. And look, we've talked about this before. I think this year we're going to see the rise of people who are building a Bitcoin mining business, not for the quick cash, but to hold, right? You build up enough cash so you can operate the mining business for X number of years, and you are stacking up the Bitcoin, and then maybe you borrow against it occasionally at some small level to cover operational costs, but you stack up when you build the business that way. If investors can see someone who knows what they're doing around that kind of a model, there's billions of dollars to be made from that kind of a model where you're just stacking the Bitcoin and you're making the long-term play. So,
well, look, you make the long-term play, you combine it with what we talked about recently, any type of green energy generation so that you offset, so you can use the power to fuel the rigs, or you do it where it has another purpose, like the guy you talked about earlier, to heat the house. I remember seeing something about somebody in Europe doing that too recently for the winter. You have to set it up in ways where it scales. Now, like you're correct with these guys that they all popped in and made the move last year when China was shutting down all the mining, and they moved everything to the U.S. when Bitcoin was at 65,000 or 60,000, and so they all get all this capital commitment, and then all of a sudden the cash flow gets gashed because the price has gone down. So, they all FOMO'd in thinking it was up only at that point, which you can't. You got to scale in gently in this game. So
that's right. That's right.
Lots of opportunity for anybody that wants to do it. Yeah.
That's all I've got for today. I got to run. Got family stuff to do. But let's wrap it up. Hope everyone has a fantastic day. Niblitz, Eamon, Shizzy, I think that was everybody today. Thanks for participating. Thanks for posting your top 10 list. If you haven't posted your top 10 list, please go to our Reddit. Shizzy has a topic there with the top 10 lists. Shizzy, go ahead and edit yours, man, or add a new list. Or I'm going to try to create the high risk list like Joe. But excited to see everybody participating in that, and hope everyone has a lovely evening. We've got Sean back tomorrow, giving us some more strategy ideas and concepts and how he thinks about longer term straight trading and investing. So appreciate you guys. Yeah. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please take a minute to rate and review us. It really helps us boost our coverage. If you're watching on YouTube, please make sure you're subscribed. Click the little bell so you get alerted when new episodes come out. And please smash the thumbs up so that we get boosted in the algo as well over there. Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Joe?
Okay, one final thing. I talked about X7 Finance yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
And so anybody to look at it, just so you know, there's a Twitter Spaces at 3:00 today that they invited me to, that I'm going to go check it out and figure out what it's all about. Awesome. Anybody else wants to join me, just look at my feed. You'll see when it is. Today at 3 p.m. East Coast time, X7 Beautiful. Finance. I don't know much yet, but I'll know more after that. So have a great day, everyone. And see you in Reddit.
All right, folks. Have a good one. Love you.